Great. Hello, everyone. Welcome.
大
Well,
家好，欢迎大家，欢迎。
we have more people entering the waiting room, so let's just want to click on and get started and say hello to you. We have a great morning session planned for you.
现在还有一些家长还在那个等候室里边，让我们再等一些时间，让他们都能够进入哈。
My name is Holly Duncan, and I am Director of Southlands Brand Management, and am so excited to be with you this morning in China time.
好，各位家长非常欢迎你们，我是 Glenn Duncan， 我是我们市场部的总经理，非常欢迎各位来到我们的会议现场。
Yes, I'm Mr. Duncan's wife. That's what she said, right?
我是Duncan 先生的太太。
Okay, so welcome. We're so thankful for you to be here, and we're excited to join with you. I would like to introduce Jane Zhu.
好，首先欢迎你们来到现场。首先要介绍建筑，那就是我。
Jane is our Director of Student Advancement and Development, as well as our interpreter today.
我是是学生提高发展部的主任，也是今天晚上为大家做翻译。
Many of you probably have her on your WeChat.
因为你们所有的人应该都有我的微信号。
Yes. So I know we are happy to welcome you, and we were happy also to provide answers to you today in this historic time period in which we are all navigating our way. We have lots of concerns. Oh, sorry, Jane.
今天我们会向你们介绍一下我们的计划，同时也会回答一下我们收集来的你们所需要提问的一些问题。
I know we all have lots of concerns these days in every aspect of our life, and you especially are concerned about your children.
因为在这个时候，我们每一个人都有各种各样的担忧，尤其是对你们来讲，你们最担忧的是你们的孩子。
Our goal today is to give you peace of mind concerning your students' education as well as their well-being.
今天我们想给你们一些概念，就是说在这个时候，我们能够给你们孩子提供的是怎样的教育。
The agenda today will consist of a brief presentation on our campus procedures and policies, and a question and answer session will follow.
我们今天的会议日程主要有2个，一个是向你们介绍我们学校的安全措施的程序，第2个是回答家长们所关心的问题。
All of the questions were taken from the survey that was sent to you previously.
上一次我们在给大家做问题解答的时候，有很多家长在后边有列出来他们所关心的问题，今天我们会在这里给大家做解答。
Of course, we recognize that you may have further questions, and we will provide a way for you to send those to us at the end of this session.
好，如果今天会议结束，你们觉得还有更多的问题想提问的话，欢迎你们在会后，我们会提供给你们联系的方式，你们可以继续跟我们联络。
Okay, also, this meeting is being recorded, and so if you know someone unable to attend, they can request the recording.
今天的会议也会全程有录像和录音。如果你们知道有哪一位没有办法来参加今天的会议的话，我们可以提供录像给他们。
We want to honor your time, and therefore we will be keeping this to a 45-minute time frame.
非常感谢你们利用这个时间来参加会议。我们今天会议预计是大约45分钟的时间。
I would like to introduce to you the President and CEO of Southlands Schools, Mr. Glenn Duncan.
现在我向大家介绍 Mr. Glenn Duncan， 我们的校董。
大家好。
我不需要翻译这一句。
Hello, everyone, those who are in America by chance, and also all those in China. Good morning.
我跟大家问好，尤其是要跟在中国的家长跟你们说一声早上好。
I want to start by thanking you so much for the time you're taking to be with us.
首先，我非常感谢你们能够花时间与我们在一起参加这个会议。
We are excited to speak with you and to share with you our preparation to have your son or daughter via online or on campus. We're excited to share with you tonight.
我们非常高兴今天能够跟你们分享我们为你们的孩子所做的网上也好，课堂也好，我们为他们预备的计划。
I want to share foundational truth about our school.
我也向你们介绍我们的根基信仰是什么。
I've been to many times I've been to China, and I've shared this when I've given speeches throughout the cities.
我去过中国很多次，我也跟他们有分享这一些。
I want you to know we love our students.
首先，你们知道我们爱我们的孩子，我们的学生。
What's love got to do with education?
那爱对教育的意义是什么呢？
It has everything to do with education because when a student feels loved, they feel secure.
当学生感觉到被爱，他们才会有安全感。
When they feel secure, the limit of their learning is off.
当他们有安全感的时候，他们学习的潜能才会爆发出来。
So that's the foundation for everything we do as a school.
在我们学校，这就是我们教育的基础。
Another vital point I want to make is we take the trust that you put into us very seriously.
你们把孩子交给我们，就是对我们的信任，我们是非常认真的接受这份责任。
You give us the responsibility to educate and to take care of your son and daughter. We take it vitally serious.
我们不单单是要给他们教育，而且我们要关爱他们，这是我们非常认真需要执行的一个职责。
And we're in this together.
我们在一个团队里面。
Personally, let me share something. My granddaughter starts preschool this year.
我想跟你们分享一下，我的孙女今年要开始进托儿所了。
I know I look much too young to have a granddaughter, but I
虽然你们不相信，我看上那么年轻，已经做爷爷了。
and my daughter teaches 4th grade in our elementary.
我的女儿是4年级的老师，
So we are in this together.
我们都在一个团队里。
I'm very proud of, I want to share this from a leader leading the school standpoint. I'm very proud of our COVID task force team and what they've accomplished.
我作为一个学校的领导，我非常非常为我们的冠状病毒紧急状态的处理委员会为他们自豪。
They are prepared.
他们完全预备好了。
They are vigilant in knowing what's the latest information on the ground.
他们一直在更新最新的信息。
And we have really spared no expense to prepare for your son or daughter online or on campus in the upcoming school year.
我们完全预备好了，无论你的孩子开学的时候是需要网课还是在课堂里边的教学，我们都预备好了。
I want to just tell you, we're here for you.
我想告诉你们，我们在这里为你们预
We're
备
here，to listen to you.
我们在这里也希望听到你们的心声。
This meeting is just one example of that.
这个会议只是一个样子而已。
And you'll get answers to your questions today.
今天你们会得到问题的解答。
But after today, as always, we're here for you with WeChat, online, telephone. You can get answers because Southlands students, Southlands teachers and leaders, we're here for you.
今天的会议只是一种交流方式，会后你们仍然可以通过微信、网络、电话任何方式和我们学校联络。
Let me finish with this.
让我最后说一句。
We will walk through this time in the world together.
我们一起会经历这一个困难，我们会一起来共同的经历。
We will succeed together.
我们会一起成功。
This will pass, but we're in it now, but we will walk step by step into victory in this time.
现在虽说有困难，但是我们一步一步一起经历，最后一定一起会步入成功。
And I want to encourage you and challenge you about something.
我想鼓励你们，也想给你们一些挑战。
Do not fear.
不用害怕。
Don't allow yourself to be full of anxiety about this.
不要让你们内心充满恐惧。
Southlands has your best interest at heart, and we're doing everything possible to ensure a successful and safe year for your student.
我们接过你们对我们的信任，我们会用我们所有的能力做一切我们能做的保护学生的事情。
So once again, it's a privilege to greet you, and I look forward to being here on this meeting with you, and I hope you enjoy it.
最后，我想说，今天是我的荣幸，能够在这里能够欢迎大家参加这个会议。
Thank you very much.
谢谢大家。
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Now I would like to introduce to you Mr. Grant Schmitter. Mr. Schmitter is our elementary and middle school principal, as well as the director of our Southlands COVID Safety Task Force. He's been exceptionally busy keeping up with government guidelines and fine-tuning all the details for our opening and campus procedures. Mr. Schmitter will be handling this portion of the meeting.
好，接下来我给大家介绍的是 Mr. Schmitter， 他是现在我们小学和初中部的校长。在冠状病毒期间呢，他是担任我们应急小组的负责人。所以最近一段时间，他非常的忙碌，不断的要更新政府的来自各个方面的最新的信息，然后为我们学校制定相应的政策。好，今天主要的让他来给我们介绍一下我们学校给大家预备的所有的方案。
First of all, thank you for that wonderful introduction.
首先，谢谢你给我如此好的一个介绍。
So, this goes back, I believe, in end of January, beginning of February, when we were meeting as an admin team, and we were discussing, right now everything was new at this time, but we've heard, the coronavirus. But, we needed someone on our school to really lead that effort in terms of making sure that as a school we work together. And our goal again is to provide a safe environment for all the students, and again, so that their education is not affected by this situation.
所以，首先我们要跟大家保证的就是，我们首先最关注的是学生的健康和安全。第二个，我们想让大家知道，即使在这个状况之下，我们还是要尽我们的努力，能够保证我们学生的教育。
And my presentation is going to be focused off, our procedures and guidelines. But at the same time, we had about 350 survey results come in, and I spent the time and looked through every single one to try to make sure your questions are answered. And if they're not during this time, please feel free to follow up with myself or with Ms. Jane, and we will make sure that you will get the answer that you want.
上一次我们给大家做问卷调查的时候，有很多的问卷调查都回来了，同时我们也收集到了很多家长们所关心的问题。如果今天这些问题没有得到解答，欢迎你们随时跟我联系，也可以跟我们的校长、跟我们学校任何一位保持联系。
And I'm going to first talk about our learning options that we're offering to our families and our students this year. And please know that over the past months, it seems like everything changes every week, and I'm sure you've felt that. But we feel like now we're we have a clear picture and we're moving forward.
想让大家知道，在最近的一个月里边，大家也经历过了，每一周时时刻刻政策情况都在改变，所以我们一直在不断的更新跟调整我们的计划。所以现在呢，大约有一个比较稳定的计划可以跟大家分享。
So the state of California, the Governor Newsom, he set forth guidelines last week that basically preventing any school, almost every school in California, from opening until a certain criteria is met. We don't, at this time, in terms of in-person class instruction, we don't know if we're going to be able to offer that from the beginning of the school year. We will know in about a week and a half when we get close to the school year. But regardless of the situation, we are going to be offering online classes as well as in-person classes, because what we felt is we wanted to give you as the parents the choice.
所以其实按照最近的我们加州州长给我们的一些指示，目前来讲，我们学校到底会以怎样的形式来开学，其实我们还要大约过1个半礼拜的左右才能够确定。所以，但是现在我给你们的确定的一个回答就是说，我们学校可以上网课，也可以进入课堂教学。
Iris and a little bit will be going over some visa details on that, but just know that if you want to be on campus 5 days a week, or if you want to be on lawn 5 days a week, we do have an option for you, and we will be working with each of you on that.
Grant, could you hold on 1 second? I have some parents asking for the password, and I do share. Give me 1 second, okay?
Okay, that's fine.
We still have about 10 parents asking for that.
Okay. But again, one thing that we do want to offer again is give you that choice. We know that the situation is not normal, But again, even when it's not normal, we do want to excel in all that we do. And once Jane is ready, I'll be kind of going into our safety procedures for when we do come on campus.
There is one parent say, and there is cannot hear, so it should be her computer problem, huh?
I believe if you can hear me, yeah, everyone should be able to hear me.
Okay, ready.
Okay. So basically what I want to get is that they have the choice as a family, whether it's in person or online.
好，第一个我让你们看到在校园里边我们所采取的措施。
So now I want to jump into some of the safety procedures that we are putting into effect on campus. Many of these we actually kind of implemented prior to March, but this is going to be full force. Our goal is to have a symptom-free campus.
我们学校的我们所有采取的这些安全措施，我们的目标是希望我们整个校园是无症状校园。
So that means for any staff, student, parent, visitor, myself included, my kids included, we're all going to have our temperature checked. There's going to be a visual screening in terms of symptoms in order to come on campus. And again, in order to enter on campus, you are going to be having to wear a mask as well.
所以进入我们校园的教师、员工、学生、访客，包括我自己的孩子，所有进入校园的都需要我们要测体温。
And with masks, we're recommending to families to also have a face shield with them as well, because wearing a mask, if they're coming on campus all day, is going to be a lot. It's going to be, there's going to be many students who have trouble breathing, a variety of reasons. So face shields are going to be acceptable when they're in the classroom.
所以有些孩子觉得一整天我戴着口罩的话，这是在如果说我们进入校园的话，他们会觉得呼吸比较累。那允许学生是戴口罩啊，戴那个面罩，这样的话他可以呼吸。
And I know high schools work to schedule things out so they have a minimum number of students in each section. But at the same time, when we did our survey results, as we expected, it was really a 50-50 split between those who wanted to be on campus and those who be off campus. So we're expecting about 40 to 50% of our normal student population on campus when we can reopen. So in terms of social distancing, classroom sizes, that is not a concern. We're looking probably 10 to 12 students in a class.
所以我们为了保持社交距离，而且我们会减少进入校园的学生。但如果说我们要回到教室上课的话，我们的学生的人数差不多是目前的50%，也就是说平均一个教室大概是10到12个学生左右。
And for lunches, we've worked with our lunch provider where everything is going to be prepaid and prepackaged. So it's quick, the kids can distance, there's no lines, there's no crowded areas. Our elementary students will be eating in their classrooms, as well as middle school and high school students will be eating outside, distanced, so that way they're not in the cafeteria altogether.
所有的学生午餐的时候是会事先预购好午餐，然后午餐也是事先打包好就直接发送，所以和现在就目前的状况不一样，会速度非常快的，就一个一个就过去。然后小学生都是在教室里边用午餐，用完午餐之后才会出外活动。
And we've also created a disinfecting plan for our campus. I've worked with our maintenance team. It's going to be our teacher. It's going to be every person on our campus involved, where there is a schedule for disinfecting, which means, for middle school and high school classes, they're going to be disinfected after every class. The restrooms are going to be disinfected ongoing throughout the day. And, originally we talked about deep cleaning classrooms twice per week, but we have the ability to increase that to every day. We're not taking any shortcuts on this.
所以我们学校在午餐之外，我们也会为大家预备许多就是洗手台，让学生都能够随时而且经常的能够清洁自己的手。然后高中生、初中生和小学生我们都会有错开，那大家都不会在一个密集的一个空间里边共同活动。
I want to go over something that's a little bit more detailed. Let me pull this up right here. Again, pardon me, I want to refer to the other sheet I have so it's in English, but again, it kind of gives a little more detail what we've been talking about. But like I said, the first and foremost is what we're going to do is it's a symptom-free campus. It's disinfecting, it's social distancing, it's everything that is set forth. And all these guidelines are from the Center for Disease Control, it's from the state of California, it's from LA County, and it's from the American Association of Pediatrics.
所以大家都看到，因为我现在已经把字幕都显示在上面，大家能够看到我们比较详细的所有的步骤，而且我们所有的保持学生健康的我们这些安全措施，都是按照我们的县、我们的政府和有关的政府那个健康部门给我们的指示。
And there's been many times over the last few months that I've met with Mr. Duncan or the school and said, we need to purchase this, we need this equipment, we need this sanitation equipment, you name it. Everything that we need, we have.
所以在我们做所有的预备工作的时候，我们一直不断的在跟我们的校董在请示，我们需要购买这个，我们需要购买那个，我们一直始终都在做各种各样的准备。
It includes limiting number of students in the classrooms, having hand sanitizer stations set up throughout the campus. It's creating one-way walkways for students so that way they all walk in the same direction, they don't come face to face. So no measure has been spared.
所以包括我们设立多个清洁站，包括我们学生在校园里走动的时候，都是保持一个方向。所有的计划我们都已经很完善了。
I mean, and again, when it comes to the fall events, everything's kind of been postponed. At the same time, we do have a procedure in place. If any student, during the day develops a fever, any staff member develops a fever, any potential situation, we have been in regular contact with our County of Public Health, and we'll be working directly with them in those situations.
所以如果到学校里边来，有任何学生如果说我们发现他有发烧有症状的话，我们是立刻会和家长会联络，也会向有关部门会汇报。如果说最后确定的话。
We probably have 20 to 30 pages of documentation and plans in place when it comes to starting the school year.
所以像整个的我们的其实我们的预备程序大约有20页到30页之多。
And again, all these guidelines either meet or even exceed the guidelines that have been set forth by the Center for Disease Control.
所有的我们这些详细的我们的这些指示，我们都会严格的去遵照去执行。
And the last part I want to talk about too is the online classes themselves. As you know, we were prepared for it. We had one day and then we went to online education in March, but we're taking it to the next level for the fall.
所以今年3月份的时候，我们当然也是事先做好了很好的预备，所以一旦紧急情况发生的时候，我们用了1天的时间，所有的学校都开始上网课了。但是秋季的时候，我们这个网课是比春季我们当时应季的整个的措施，我们要提高了一个水准。
Because even if we are open in person for on-campus classes, we are going to have students at home in the United States, at home in China, and we're going to be prepared for that.
因为我们要预备好有3种状况，有学生是会在校园里，有学生在美国，他是在家里上网课，甚至有学生他在中国也要同时跟我们同步上网课。
So we'll have the equipment for that. At the same time, we are spending the time training the teachers and preparing the teachers for that, so they don't have to figure things out. We have a blueprint for them.
所以我们不仅购买好了设备，而且我们的老师都会接受培训，如何同时在一个场景的时候，同时应对这样3种不同状态下的学生。
And so that means that on August 17th, whether, whatever guidelines, whatever can be on person, online, if it's a combination of both, you can expect the same level of excellence from Southlands that we pride ourselves on.
这样就是说，在8月17号我们准时开学的时候，无论说当时是被要求以怎样一种形式上课，我们都已经充分准备好了。
And again, I know when the invitation was sent out there, we did attach the COVID-19 safety procedures on there. If we have a Q&A later on, there'll be some details in there, but if there's anything that comes up, there's no question too small. I mean, we want your questions answered. Feel free to either contact myself directly or contact Ms. Jane, and she can ask me. I'll get that answer for you.
所以在疫情期间，其实每一件事情对我们来讲都是很重大的事情。有任何问题、有任何状况的话，欢迎你们随时直接跟我联系，也可以跟朱老师联系。
All right, and thank you for your time.
好，谢谢你们。Thank you, Gran.
Wonderful. Good job, Mr. Schmitter. Appreciate that. Hey, did you mention about our camera purchase?
Yeah, I talked about
Yes.
I talked about the equipment that we'll have. I mean, we have cameras. It's going to be set up, like I said, so it's going to be clear. They'll be able to hear everything. And so, like I said, on August 17th, no matter what format they'll be involved with our school, it will be great.
Perfect.
好，刚才Mrs. Duncan 是问了他一下，有没有提起我们是买了特殊的那个摄像头，就在教室里边同时同步上课的时候，网课的学生也能够同步看到，这是比较特殊的，所以刚才有问他。
Proud of those cameras. Okay, I would like now to introduce Miss Iris Huang.
好，接下来我要给你们大家介绍 Iris 黄。
Iris is the head of our international department, and she and the I-20 department have been watching all of the government regulations for us and working hard to keep your students' academic dreams of studying in the USA a reality. She's going to give us a SEVIS update and anything pertaining to visas and all that situation. So Iris, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Mrs. Duncan. 那我想让朱老师可以稍稍的休息一下，那我就直接的跟大家用中文来解释。各位家长大家好，今天呢，我简单的想跟大家说一下关于国际学生的最新规定。第一呢，就是无论学生身处美国还是其他国家，只要他们按学校的安排正常的继续他们的学业，都可以保持在美国的国际学生身份。那第二呢，就是无论学生是上网课还是在校园上课，他们必须保持学校规定的出勤率。过多的旷课次数是会影响留学生身份，甚至导致留学生的 I-20 文件被终止的。请注意了，如果学生是上网课的话呢，他们需要遵循美国的上课时间同步上课，不可以按照自己的时间表去选择看重播。那第三就是，就算您的学生选择秋季上网课，我们依然建议学生留在美国，因为现在的政策只是延长了移民局在3月份的时候针对疫情所做出的变动。换句话说呢，这都是暂时的政策，随着疫情的好转，是有可能随时变回去的。那最后，我想提醒大家，无论如何，如果学生有离开美国的打算，你务必提前跟我们学校的国际部联系，因为我们呢是需要学生在离开美国前去更新和备注学生的 I-20 文件的。我们也只会在学生已经注册过新学年和交过学费的情况下去更新这份文件。在最新的规定里面呢，电子版的 I-20 文件还是被接受的。所以打印版并不是必须的。我在这里就想跟大家说一下这些比较重要的更新，也谢谢大家今天抽时间来参加这个这么重要的会议。谢谢朱老师 and thank you, Mrs. Duncan.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, everyone. I'm sure that had a lot of information that you have been interested in hearing. So thank you, Iris. We're going to move on to our question and answer.
接下来我们到回答我们上次在问卷调查的时候收集来的家长所关心的一些问题。
Yes, and we thank you for sending your questions in ahead of time.
也非常谢谢你们能够事先向我们提出这些问题。
We will address those now, and then any further questions, you can send them to the principal, Grant Schmitter, Rosie Pack, who was not able to be with us tonight. She had a family situation that she needed to handle tonight. But we do have our vice principal, Maria Garcia, with us.
如果大家有什么问题的话，欢迎大家可以随时跟我们的Mr. Schmider， 我们小学、初中校长、高中校长 Rosie Park 呢，今天因为家庭有紧急状况，所以他没有办法来参加。但是我们的副校长也是我们的升学顾问那个 Mrs. Garcia 今天在我们的现场。
We know many of you communicate through Mrs. Zhu's WeChat, so that's available. And then also info@southlandscs.com.
你们也可以通过微信跟我保持联系。我们学校的一个公用的邮箱，跟大家保持联络的是 info@southlandscs.com.
Okay, so I am going to be addressing questions grouped by topic. And Mr. Schmider, as the head of the task force, Iris from the I-20 department, Maria Garcia is going to be representing high school and answering, and Mr. Duncan, if you want to jump in at any time, that would be great and welcome as well.
好，接下来我们是按照我们把大家所关心的问题做了一下分类，所以我们是有安全问题，是由我们的 Mr. Smith 为大家解答。如果关于学生的身份问题，是我们国际部的 Iris 黄老师为大家解答。关于到我们高中校园的学生生活的话，是我们的副校长Mrs. Garcia 会为大家解答。
Yes, I also would like to point out that Mrs. Garcia is, as well as being our vice principal, she also is our high school counselor, and she's there if your student needs her with any social or emotional needs.
在这里我顺便跟大家讲一下 ，Mrs. Garcia 她不仅是我们的高中副校长、升学顾问，她还有另外一份职责，她是能够帮助我们学生解决我们心理和情感上的问题。在这个阶段，如果大家有什么需要的话，也可以跟 Mrs. Garcia 做预约。
Great. Okay, so our first set of questions is overall questions concerning our student safety. And you've heard Mr. Schmider's presentation, but just want to ask some of these questions as well, maybe to reinforce some of those.
刚才你们听到 Mr. Schmider 有给大家做了一下我们的在安全方面的措施，有些问题可能已经做了解答了。
So this first question asks, how does the school ensure our students' safety?
Oh, quite. Go ahead,
一个问题，
Jamie,
如
you
何
can
保
jump
证我们学生的安全？
It's quite simply by following the safety procedures that we've set forth. They're very detailed, they're very thorough. They cover, again, how to get on entering campus, sick people if do come down with a fever or any symptoms of any type, sanitation, disinfection, distancing. I mean, it covers everything.
其实刚才我给你们展示的这个我们的预防整个的我们的安全程序里边，应该说大家都能够看到我们所采取的措施，用这个应该说能够给你们解答这个问题了。
And we will be coming out with more detailed guidelines for families as they are able to come on campus. So that way, every family, every student knows what's required before they come on campus.
我们还会有更详细的行动指南，会给我们家庭和学生。
Okay, our second question has to do with the concern for having lunch on campus. What provisions have you made for lunch?
All right, so for lunches like I said, our elementary students are eating in their classroom. For elementary, because it's the same group of students all day together, they all have clear desk barriers. And then for middle school and high school, they will be eating obviously at different times. And we're talking a much smaller amount of kids on campus, but they will be sitting outside distance. And we do have, again, barriers for those tables. So when they do eat, there is a clear glass barrier between the students if they're not able to distance. So again, it's a physical barrier, it's very clear. And again, we're gonna have a whole sanitation station for their hands. So that way when they do take off their masks, when they eat, it's safe.
好，如果在学校里边用餐的话，小学生我刚才有介绍，小学生都是在自己教室里边，当家都是有隔离的，用完餐以后才可以出去活动。那初中生和高中生呢，是在校园里边，在室外用餐。 室外用餐，学生都会规定保持规定的社交距离，然后学生和学生之间，我们也会有透明的玻璃板有做隔离，而且都会给学生提供足够的洗手液。
And this also includes no sharing of any supplies, devices, anything like that either.
而且学校里边都有说，没有共享学习用品，没有共享个人用品，所有的东西都没有共享，我们会有这样一个要求。
Okay, there's a concern for different grade levels being on campus together.
So we like, oh, go ahead, Jean.
是担心就是说不同年级的人应该是怎么样在学校里边有错开。OK。
And so what we've done again, like we've always had a staggered schedule where there's a start time that's different, lunch times are different, break times are different, dismissal times are different.
所以这个大家一点不用担心，我们从上课的第一节课的时间，包括中间休息的时间、午餐的时间、放学的时间，不同的年级我们都是有错开的。
And again, by providing the online option for families, there's about 40 to 50% of the normal amount of students on campus.
所以同时我们又提供了网络课程，其实至少有1半以上的学生会在家里，所以校园的人数不会很多。
So when it comes to distancing and traffic, it's going to be a fraction of what it used to be.
所以等到他们来的时候，我们能够有足够的空间给他们保持足够的社交距离。
Okay.
Right? If the students go onto campus, how many students would be in one class?
刚才好像回答过这个问题，说如果到教育园里边来的话，一个教室大概有多少学生？
Well, first, Maria, would you like to answer that about the high school sections?
Yes, good morning. It's great to be here with you. And your student safety is our priority in the high school as well. And we're working very closely together, all of the schools. And for high school, our class sizes are going to be very reduced. Like Mr. Smitter said, 10 to 12 students in some classes, especially some of the APs, because some students will be doing online. They'll be even smaller. So the average would be about 10 to 12 students per class. So it'll be very safe with the desks, being very separate. Wearing masks, also having barriers for the students. So we're looking forward to getting the school year started with your students.
And one thing
要跟大家解释的就是，也是我们刚才已经有提到的，说因为有一部分的学生都已经在家里上课，那我们学校能够保持的都是小数量的每一班的人。差不多在高中的话 ，AP 人数那班里边肯定会更少，平均每个班的学生的话，不会超过10到12个人。
And one thing to keep in mind as well is that every classrooms have different sizes. So some classes are very large, some are a little bit smaller. So that's also taken into account.
所以，而且尤其是高中生哈，我们每一个班的人数都是不一样的，按照你上的不同的课程。所以，除非是有些班的人数是比较多的话，那现在去掉一半，差不多10到12个。有些本身就已经很小班的话，那班级边的人就会更少了。
Mr. Schmitter, were you finished?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Schmitter, which guidelines will you follow?
All of them. I mean, what we set forth, it's the CDC, the state, like the county, the American Association of Pediatrics. I mean, they're all kind of built off the same foundation, and we've taken all of that and we've implemented all of it. Again, what's set forth is what we're following.
所以刚才有家长提的这个问题，就是我们学校是按照怎样的一个安全指南来指挥我们学校的所有的运行的。所以我们 Mr. Smith 的回答是说，我们是综合所有的，不管是从联邦卫生部门的，还是到州政府的，还是到县政府的，他们的基础都是一样的，但是我们会全方位的综合所有这些部门的要求，来组成我们学校的一个行动指南。
How many classes per day in the hybrid program?
That really depends on the selection of the family. I mean, if they want to be on campus in the morning and go home in the afternoon, we can accommodate that. Again, it's just a matter of what they want in person and what they want via online. So it's not saying how many classes per day in hybrid program. It's more about how much time do they want their child on campus. And
刚
based
才
on
这个
that,
问题是问，好，刚才这个问题是问一个学生一天在校园里上几节课？我们 Mr. Smith 老师的回答是说，这要看每个学生自己的选择。如果说你选择一天你只上半天课的话，那你说我上半天，下午我会回家去上网课，那你的课时就和全天的学生是不一样的。其实这个是取决于你自己选择的是怎样的方案。如果说你选择是全天都在家里上网课的话，那你在课堂里边你是一天都没有，一节课都没有。
And so basically, the families will work with myself, Mrs. Pack, and our teams for each family so that we know we have a plan for each student. And that way we know where the student's supposed to be, they know where the student's supposed to be, and that way there's clear communication on that.
这些方案呢，我们都是会跟每一个学生和他们的家长，整个的家庭都会一起来讨论他的方案。所以学生和学校都非常心里都很明白，这个学生在什么时候会出现在教室里边，什么时候不会。
Okay. Maria, did you want to say anything about that as well?
Yes, I was going to say just for the high school, the students usually take 7 courses, but seniors are allowed to take 6. But yes, there's the flexibility, you know, with hybrid. And also some periods they might have to study or do homework online as well. So we are being flexible with that as well, but making sure they take all the classes they need to be ready for college.
So we're being flexible, but we're also taking attendance.
Yes, yes.
所以Mrs. Garcia 解释，高中部其实也是一样，是给大家是一个很有弹性的一个自主的一个课程。那平时我们9到11年级的学生应该是上7堂课，那12年级是允许只有6堂课。但是所有的课程我们排出来的课程你都必须要上。当然，不论你选择是在课堂里上还是在网络上面上，但是因为毕业所需要的学分，你们都还是这些课程都还是必须要拿的。
Okay, I'm just looking. We've had our 45 minutes, but we have many questions left to go. And this is
因为我们只有45分钟的时间，但是还有很多的问题需要回答。
So I'll be brief in my answers.
Okay. Okay, in the instance of a positive case, what method will the school take to report the positive case, suspected cases, and other data every day among the students?
这
So
个问题是说，如果说偶然的话，如果这件事情在校园里发生，有学生测出来是阳性的话，学校会采取怎样的措施，如何去做汇报？
very basically, we work with the LA County Department of Public Health. And if there is a positive case, we identify the close contacts of that student. And those close contacts then would have to quarantine themselves. And in order for any of them to return back on campus, they do have to follow the CDC guidelines in order to return. I'll let you go, Jane.
好。 如果说我们有学生发现有检测出来是属于阳性的话，我们直接汇报的是洛杉矶县的卫生部门。被检测出来的学生当然要按照医生的指示去做隔离。然后他如果要返回校园的话，也必须满足健康部门所给予的所有的条件。
And the whole school will be notified of that positive case. We can't reveal the individual because of privacy laws. But the school will be notified because we will be switching to online for at least a day so the school can be disinfected.
如果说这样的案例发生的话，我们会立即通知学校的每一个学生，但是我们不会告知大家这个被测出阳性的这个学生的姓名，是因为了隐私的关系。那第2天整个学校会关闭1天做深层的消毒。
And then those close contacts with the person who was tested positive, we will contact individually who would quarantine, which they can still participate from class online. So that way attendance is not affected. But again, in order to return, they do have to follow the CDC guidelines that are set forth.
我们也会及时的跟踪所有可能跟这个学生有接触的学生，也会跟踪他们的状况，也要求他们做隔离。
Okay.
Yep.
All right. If the student gets COVID-19, will the school take liability?
Well, we are asking all our families who do return to sign a waiver, just acknowledging the risk. I mean, anytime you go outside right now, there's a risk. But at the same time, we have confirmed with our insurance that the students who have purchased insurance through our school, that COVID coverage is included on there.
刚才的问题是说，如果有学生患上了那个不小心被感上冠状病毒的话，学校是不是承担责任？回答是，学校不会承担责任。每一个你决定要回到校园里来上课的家长，都会签一份免责书。同时，我们要求每一个进入校园上课的学生，你们都应该自己购买好医疗保险。国际学生都是支付学费的里边已经包含医疗保险的，学校会统一购买。如果说没有按照这个来购买的话，你们每一个人都应该保证自己有足够的医疗保险。
Okay.
Great. Which organization will define the close contacts?
Jane.
哪一个组织是我们直接汇报的机构？
We work directly with the LA County Department of Public Health and their health officials. So we have a positive case. They identify. They'll work with us to identify close contacts, and then we follow that.
我们直接汇报的是洛杉矶县的公共卫生部门，所以跟他们保持联系，我们也会按照他们所给出的所有的指示去执行。
Great. Okay, so we have a very strict guidelines and procedures that we're following by the CDC, the AAP, and the LA County, right? So we're working alongside with them, and we have a really good system in place. Great.
Yes.
对，我们再重复的就是说，我们会严格按照疾病防治中心、国家公共健康部门所有相关部门给予的一切的指示。
Okay, next session has to do with online classes, and then after that, we will talk about visa issues.
好，接下来谈论的是网上课程，然后我们才会跟大家讲到签证的问题。
According to the current situation, I hope the school can offer online classes to protect all of the students. Is this possible?
因为这个问题问的时候是那一次问的时候呢，正好是那个政策还没有改变，是规定国际学生必须要在课堂里边要上学，所以这个问题说有没有可能我学生全部上全网课？
Yes, this is possible. And again, we are asking students to participate live through Zoom for attendance purposes. And I believe this also preserves their I-20 status as well. If I'm not mistaken, Iris can confirm that.
所以刚才也有做解释，说目前状况下，国际学生如果上全网课的话，身份不会被取消，是按照目前的政策。Okay.
Iris, did you need to add to that?
是的，我刚刚已经在声明的几点里面呢，就是说现在确实是延长了3月份的时候的一个暂时的政策，是学生可以在网上上课，而不会影响他们的国际学生身份。Thank you, Mrs. Duncan. I'm done.
The student is not in the US now. Can he or she take 5 days of online classes from China?
Yes, they can. Go ahead, Jane.
对的，如果说你现在学生不在美国，他可不可以在境外5天全部上网课？回答是可以的。
Yes, they can. Believe the school hours will be around 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. To participate over Zoom. But again, they can participate, and again, it preserves their status as well.
所以刚才校长补充一点，就是说他是可以，但是呢，他要按照美国主校园的这个网络课程 Zoom 的那个课程表，因为要在上这个课程的时候，因为我们的课堂里面最重要的一个是跟老师之间有互动，同学之间有讨论，所以他这个课程必须是跟我们主校园是同步的。
Okay, we have question regarding updating our plan. Can we update and change our plan on campus?
接下来问题说，我们的秋季的时候，我们的计划会不会有更新？
Yes, and we've already done that multiple times just in the past few weeks alone.
你当然会及时的更新的。我们这个计划已经更新了很多次了。
Yeah, and whatever, we follow the guidelines. There's been new guidelines issued on a regular basis. Again, we're looking at all the research. We're looking at the data just to make sure that any decision we make, it's an informed decision.
我们一直会关注数据，一直会关注政府部门给出的任何新的政策，所以对此来讲，我们的计划也会随时的更新。
Okay, visa issues. For students who cannot enter the US, can they transfer to the campuses in China?
如果说学生他没有办法回到美国来的话，他们可不可以转去其他的在中国的校园？
I don't know who to answer that. Would that be Iris?
我就直接用中文回答一下，如果我回答的不完整，请朱老师补充。那原则上，这个是一个可行的方案，不过我们不建议，因为现在其实已经可以上网课了。我相信的话，这一个问题是当时还没有改变这个政策，如果上5天网课是不可以保留国际学生身份的时候提出的。那既然现在已经没有了这个问题呢，我们非常鼓励学生继续以网课的方式，就算在中国同步跟我们上课，因为这样的话可以更好的继续他们的学业，而且他们可以保持他们在美国的国际学生身份。因为如果他们转到国内的其他我们的学校的话，那他的 I-20这份文件是要被取消的，所以我们其实不建议。朱老师，请你看一下有没有补充。
是一点不错，你可以回到国内去，你要转去其他学校，其实对我们来讲，你原则上还是去了另外一个学校，虽然那个学校是我们的合作学校，但是因为它已经不属于我们 Southland 这个母校，因为这个母校是唯一可以维持你国际学生身份的这样的一个校园，所以你离开了去其他学校上学的话，没有办法维持你的220的身份。所以在之后，如果政策有变化，如果你要重新拿回你的220，如果你的那个学生签证220失效以后，你再要回到主校园，还要一切从头开始。
是的，谢谢。
OK。
Will the visa be affected if a positive case is reported, or will the government require quarantining again?
如果说学生被查出来是有感染了冠状病毒，必须要被隔离，在这种情况下，他的签证或者他学生身份是否会受到影响？
那现在是不会了，因为根据政策来讲，可以上5天的网课，而且我们学校已经做好了全面的准备，随时可以变成线上上课，所以这个问题不会存在的。
Okay, thank you. I'm concerned about absences. If my child has to go home because of close contact or because of catching the virus, what about absences? I understand there's a 20-day limit.
所以家长会担心，如果说我需要病假，我患病了，我需要隔离，那以我们理解，我们最多的可以缺课的次数是20天，对吗？
I can speak for the high school.
Yes, please.
Yes. If a student needs to go home and then they go on Zoom for their class, that will not count as an absence. And if a student is absent because they're sick, yes, that counts towards the 20 days, but we are going to be there's flexibility. Occasionally if we've had a student injure their leg or something happen with a doctor's note and they exceed the 20, we can show grace because there's been a medical reason. And so there will be flexibility, of course, with the COVID situation. We don't want parents to be concerned about that. And the teachers and as a counselor, I'll also help the students to make sure they can catch up academically as well.
所以我们刚才 Mrs. Garcia 解释，就是作为高中部，他的回答是，即使没有在疫情情况下，我们的学生如果说严重的得病啊，在这种情况下有医院的医生的证明，我们都会给学生有一些比较宽松的政策。 那尤其是在现在这个状况下，如果是不幸再得病的话，大家不用担心这个那个考勤的制度，我们一定也会给学生有一些比较自由度的。
Okay, so this goes along with that. Should I be worried that my student would get terminated by CVIS because of too many absences? So no, right? Okay.
OK， 如果说过多的缺课，是不是会造成我的那个学生身份被取消？
所以这个呢，就回到我刚刚提到的第二点，如果学生是因为他需要被隔离离开学校的话，他是可以在网上上课的，所以一定要注意要在网上同步上课。如果学生是因为自己生病的原因受到影响呢，刚刚 Mrs. Garcia 跟朱老师也解释得很清楚，我相信也是一样的处理方法，所以我们到时候呢要看因为这个如果是国际学生的身份，我们如果学生真的不幸被感染的话，我们一定会积极的帮忙去处理，但如果只是因为需要隔离，那上网课就已经可以了，所以不会有这个问题的。
是。
Okay. Can the students take the online class in their home country?
Yeah, that answered already.
Okay, okay. The student, so this one says the student must have classes at campus at least one day. That was a previous policy, correct?
Yeah.
And
因为
everyone,
刚才还有家长问，是不是可以学生在学校是不是必须只上一天的，需要上一天的课？这个也是在政策改变之前提问的。
okay. I hope my student can complete his 12th grade in Qingdao. Is this possible? Oh, we already talked about that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
And
other time, yeah, we talked already.
my student cannot get back to the US on time. I hope the school can keep the international students to continue to study in the US.
Yeah, that question also answered before the policy changed.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. 因为刚才那个问题是说，我的学生我现在没有办法准时回到美国，学校有没有可能维持我的国际学生的身份？这也是在上一次政策改变之前，就要求国际学生必须要在校园里上课的时候，现在这个政策暂时没有执行，只是说暂时。所以你现在在中国的话，没有办法回来，在中国全网课也是可以维持你的身份的。
Wonderful. Mr. Duncan, do you have any final words for us?
Yes, I do. I have a few.
OK，Mr. Duncan 现在还有话对我们说。
First of all, I want to remind everyone, because I've seen others joining us late, whatever reason, this is recorded and you can see it in its entirety.
所以我看到，因为有些家长是进来的时候比较晚了，是错过了开始的会议。那我们会有会议的录像，你们需要的话，我们可以提供给你们。
Just a couple of points. We are going to have such a quick response. So if you've heard something, I guarantee you, we've already heard it and researched it and acted on it.
所以你们要知道，我们的反应也是非常快速的。当你们听到一些什么消息的时候，其实我们也已经听到了，而且我们已经在采取行动。
We sort of joke around at Southlands that we move at the speed of Southlands.
我们在开 you broke up a little. What speed about Southland?
Yeah, we joke around that we move at the speed of Southlands.
我们平时开玩笑说，我们的行动要用索斯兰的速度，这个就是我们的速度，快速表现。
Faster than the speed of light.
比我们的生命的速度还要快。
And let me assure you that as staff and as leaders, we will be on the campus out and about enforcing and making sure everything is flowing.
所以我跟你们解释的是，我们作为我们的学校的领导也好，我们所有的员工也好，都会在校园里边保障我们学生的安全。
And I know many questions about this, but I want to just reiterate and how proud I am of our team that you can have 5 days on campus or 5 days online, 5 days on Zoom. There is ultimate flexibility because we want the education of our students to be seamless and excellent.
我们是希望我们的学生，我们为大家，我很自豪，我们的团队能够做出这样一个 非常自由度非常大的一个计划。你可以上网课，你可以在课堂里边，你也可以综合形式的去上课。我们就是要保证我们学生用最好的方式，让你们能够接受到教育。
Let me finish with this.
让我最后跟你们说，
I'll say it again. We are here for you.
我们在这里是为你们服务。
If you didn't hear you still need other questions. You have questions that need to be answered. There's email, there's telephone, and there's WeChat.
你在任何时候还有任何问题需要解答的时候，电话、邮件、微信都可以。
Remember, together we're in for the long haul to excellence. We will get through this, and we will shine, and we will have excellence, and your students will be blessed, and they will succeed.
我们作为一个团队，我们会一起经历这段困难的时刻，但是我们一定会经历过完全战胜这一个时刻，让你们的孩子也能够获得成功。
Thanks again. It's been a privilege.
谢谢你们，我非常荣幸能够参加这个会议。
So we would
Thank
like
you,
to
Mr. Duncan.
Yes, we would like to thank you all and for participating, and we want you to know that we will send a recap of this town hall to you, as well as any of the frequently asked questions that come in afterwards. So remember, we're here for you, like Mr. Duncan said. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. God bless you.